got a couple guys on those guard-to-guard screen and rolls, and then you specifically hunt out Aaron in transition. Can you just maybe describe the way that some of those passing angles opened up for you guys and the accuracy that you had in those situations?
Yeah, they were guarding us a certain way. Jalen Brunson was showing, and we were putting him in action. And guys are doing a great job. Aaron Wiggins, everybody. Aaron Wiggins.
You saved that basketball, boy.
Thanks, Wiggs.
Do you want to? We can trade. I'll get out.
Yeah, they were guarding us a certain way. They were showing. Wiggs and Lou did a great job of like screening and rolling and attacking the show. We go over attacking coverages all the time, and we were just executing. I was in the pocket, and then the roll guy was making a great play, whether it was to score or to pass. Yeah, it was just good basketball.
And Dub, that fourth quarter, the crowd's so electric. It's a high-intensity game. You have some of these momentum plays, the dunk on the trail and the block in transition. What's going through you in those moments? Is there anything? Are you seeing red? What's happening in your mind? I know that's when Dub is here as opposed to Jalen.
That's tough. I don't know. I'm just playing really hard, and then when the fans get into it, like, it's kind of like an out-of-body experience to a certain extent. Like, I don't think I realize like how much harder I am playing. But yeah, just trying to make plays, and those were the two that kind of got it going again. But a lot of it's just like the fans are into the game, the whole game. So when stuff like that, it's like almost like a build-up of like the whole game, and then that kind of ends up being the result.
For either of you, when you start clapping when Wiggs comes in here, obviously
Big fan.
Pretty outstanding fourth quarter. Just what you see from him, and I guess specifically Shai, you seem to have a pretty high level of trust in him down the stretch. Like, what did you guys see in the quarter?
Wiggs is always level-headed, so no matter what situation is, up or down, left or right, he stays in that zone. And because of that, it allows me and the rest of the team to trust him no matter the situation and no matter the pressure. And that's what we saw tonight. Wiggs was himself. He was aggressive. He took shots he's comfortable shooting, and he made shots because of those intangibles. And then he works hard, and everything clicks. So, yeah, that's why I trust him, why we trust him, and why he makes plays like he did.
I guess, like, Isaiah was in here talking about, Sam being so good at identifying talent that, a team like this can have a guy like Wiggs that just doesn't play some games. I guess, what does that mean for this team to have a guy like Wiggins who could pop off for 15 in the fourth, but, not even play some games?
Yeah, we're a very deep team full of high-level basketball players, professionals, hoopers, guys that do whatever it takes to win, and that's why we're so good. We have so many different looks. We have so many different lineups, and we all just want to win at the end of the day, and nothing comes before that, and that's why we are on this roll.
Dub, you guys were down 7 with like 6 or 7 minutes left. You get the stop. Kaysen gets a fast break in. Like, he has that blunder and goes out of bounds. And
he tripped over his feet, bad feet.
Y'all start laughing, and it's an intense game. A lot of teams, a lot of young teams specifically, would like get their heads down, and you guys just started laughing instead of letting it get to you, get on the other end, get the stop, then you get the layup on after that. Mm-hmm. Mark talked about wanting to see what you guys were made of in like moments like that where things just didn't go your way. What was going through your mind in that moment just to stay so calm?
Well, first it was just funny. Like, he just kind of tripped over his own feet. And Queso just usually doesn't happen. It was just kind of like one of those nights, like me and Hart trying to fight for a rebound and lose it, and I think they got fouled or got an and one. Like, so just kind of embracing the challenge of what the game had, and I just kind of know like Queso was going to come back and make another good play and be ready. But yeah, those moments are like also ones where you try and stay calm and like not stray too far from what we've been doing all year. Like, we've
Shai, you've been with Mark. You've been Mark this whole time, and you guys haven't had many moments in clutch games, with high-profile games like this specifically this season. What have you seen from him in those moments?
From who?
Mark. and like to
Coach him
stay
up.
calm and stay trustful, keep his trust in you guys to like not like get in the way, not like call plays or mess things up for you guys.
We go through end of game almost every practice. So regardless of whether we play in them, we know what to do. We know our spots. We know how to execute. And he harps on that a lot throughout the season because when we want to win games end the season, when it really comes down to it, that's what it's about. And he knows that. We all know that. And because we go over so much, he has trust in us to execute and make plays, and that's what you guys saw tonight.
Jalen, it seems like it gets easier for you as the game goes on to kind of get downhill at the rim. Is part of that just feeling out the defense and settling into the game?
Yeah, later in the game, 2 usually has around 30, so that usually opens up a lot of the paint. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, as the game goes, for everybody, it gets harder to, like, stay within your principles, and that's what kind of like separates good teams. So you just keep going until you find cracks in the defense to try and do it, and just trying to like be persistent throughout the whole game to find them. And it ends up being like something down the stretch or it comes like the third quarter, but it's more just about like keep trying to like find them during the game.
Shai, the other day there was a nice video of Jalen talking about how guys need to watch the games to see, whether to vote on you about being an MVP and that. On the other hand, these aren't nationally televised games. These are games that people are having to find. Can you kind of talk about why Jalen should be an All-Star?
Take your time. I want to say it correctly. I'm not thinking. I know the answer. I just want to say it correctly.
Take your time.
Jalen is a very efficient, versatile basketball player on both ends of the floor. We are the number 1 seed in the West by a good margin of games. Without Jalen, we would not be this good of a basketball team. And basically, Jalen's pretty good. Really, really good. There's nothing more than that. He is an all-star, whether he makes it or not. Now he will make it. But, yeah, he's really good at basketball, and he'll be there in San Fran.
Shai, last season you guys were the youngest 1 seed in NBA history, and you mentioned when people were sort of talking about that, it was like, we're going to be young now, we're going to be young for a long time. There's sort of the cliche of like younger teams have to take their lumps, they have to sort of get their playoff scars. Do you think that you can get those scars as a team during the regular season, or does it have to be in the playoffs?
It's hard to judge, almost impossible. Regardless, you have to lose to win, like in any situation in life, and we know that. Now, we're going to do everything we can in our power not to lose and try to defy the odds, but we just give everything our all, have the right intentions, do it together, and wherever that takes us, it takes us. Whatever bumps in the road we hit, and we're going to figure it out together. We're going to continue to do the same thing that's got us over the humps we had in the past, and hopefully we end up where we want to.
You guys are in a stretch where pretty much every night you're playing a top team in the NBA. The next one is Boston on Sunday, the defending champs. Does that one have any extra motivation?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They won, and we're trying to win. So that'll be a very, very fun basketball game. Sorry to cut you off.
Can you respond, Jalen?
Yeah, like you said, they're defending champs. They know what it takes to win at the highest level. They've been going to the finals, and a lot of them have been going to the finals and the playoffs for a long time. So a lot of added extra motivation, and we can kind of see where we're at.
And Nana.
And Nana.
Last one to Joel.
Shai, we talked in recent weeks about playing a decent number of teams who were like missing the head of their snake or a couple top options, but they had their starters. Cat was physical. Brunson had paint touches. They kind of hit from all cylinders for a lot of that game. Just where would you rank tonight's win as like among the tests you've had this season?
Yeah, it would be up there for sure. Very high-level team. They came in here winning 9 in a row. Made some off-season additions. Obviously, they're where they are in the league for a reason. And they had the better of us for most of the night, but we stuck with it. And like Coach said, we really showed who we were. It was a really good game. Really good game, really good test for us. And pass the test.
Moment when the other team calls timeout after you hit a massive three in clutch time, what's that walk back to the bench like?
Yeah, I mean, feels good. Guys are out on the court. The energy's kind of loud, very contagious. Good feeling. Just a big momentum swing, momentum play. Gives, I think, the team a sense of confidence that, we're in control of the game. So, good feeling.
Wiggs, I admittedly have not watched your entire basketball career. Where would you rank that fourth quarter among the most important stretches of your career?
It's definitely like top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, maybe top 5. I've had some good moments, but I mean that was a big one, so it felt really good. I don't know where I put it though.
And we've talked a lot recently about Shai. He mentioned earlier in the year he reflected on the postseason and wanted to put a bunch of guys from last year's team in better position for next postseason by doing whatever that takes, playmaking, whatever it might be. The level of trust he showed in you in the fourth quarter, I just wonder, could you describe what that felt like and whether you feel like he's kind of tried to put that effort forward to make you guys better for the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of just starts with him, one, challenging himself to be to improve every year and get better game by game. And, I mean, a guy with that talent level and that skill set who's capable of kind of having contagious energy amongst his teammates, his drive and his will to get better every single day and work on his game, I think motivates everyone else around the team as well. And then, wanting to be of help. He's out there scoring and playing at the level that he's playing at. So you want to be there, have his back on that end. But, I mean, he and I always have little moments where, in terms of just being willing to make those extra passes and find me if I hit one before. We kind of have little moments where I'm like, you can trust me, and he's continued to just show that as we've continued to kind of play together in the years that we've been with each other. So.
Aaron, is tonight extra special given that you had your family in town for your birthday?
Yeah, super special. Obviously, the new year. Right after New Year, my birthday, and then today's my mom's birthday. So, as a whole, just like fun 3 days. Having the family here adds to it. So,
you've been around a long time. Whenever this team was developing, you've had big games when this team was developing. But tonight in the fourth quarter, the crowd goes crazy. Big pop whenever you guys call a timeout. Everybody stands up from the bench, comes over, and just kind of wants to, congratulate you, give it a pat or whatever. Can you just take a breath and think about, those games where you're having big games and you guys are getting killed by somebody, while you're developing, and like nights like tonight where it's a big time game and you're a major part of it.
Yeah.
Just can you take a breath and just kind of where your head's at with that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely try to, take in those moments. You don't take those moments for granted. The work that we as individuals put in kind of like, is for moments like those. And, obviously there's an ultimate goal at the end of the season. But the path to that is, moments like these and then moments where you're on the other end of it. So you don't take it for granted. You take those lessons, you kind of learn from them. And then you also, store some of those memories as well. So big moment, super fun. Got to get ready for the one Sunday now.
You guys kind of fighting uphill the whole game. Defense got better the second half. Shai's getting his 30-something. Dub had 20 or whatever. When you're on the bench, are you saying, hey, we need a little bit extra pop? Because you kind of get to watch and see how things are unfolding. Are you looking to be that third scorer or whatever, or does it just happen?
I'm never thinking about being that third scorer by any means. When we're in timeouts and, obviously we were down in the third and we're just looking for a sense of energy, I'm thinking about how can I kind of bring that pop of energy, yes. And I'm not thinking about when I get the ball, like ISO and try to shoot a step back or anything. It's like, can I go get a couple offensive rebounds that lead to extra possessions where we can score on it? Can I, have a big play on defense? Can I dive for a loose ball? Kind of those plays that I think can spark a sense of energy, both to the guys on the court and to our bench. Those are the big plays that, kind of go unnoticed sometimes.
What after you hit that first one, what happens about the second, the third one? A little bit more aggressive because you kept getting open.
Yeah. I mean, my teammates kept finding me, kept getting, I felt good after the first one. Second one fell, so I was like, if I'm open again, obviously going to shoot it. But it's still kind of just letting the game flow, playing in the flow of the game and continuing to just trust that my teammates will put me in the position to, help us, and I'm going to do what I can to help the team, so.
Aaron, since you've been here, you've been asked to defend multiple positions. When in your career did you get comfortable with that, with defending all those guys?
I haven't gotten comfortable with it. But understanding that there's, every single night there's just different things you're going to face, and there's different challenges you're going to face, and the challenges don't stop. If the challenges stop, then you're not in a great position. So just kind of always having a mindset to be ready for whatever, whether that's offensively, defensively. I don't know.
Could you expand on some of those challenges defensively?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, guarding different positions. Being, kind of having pride, guarding one-on-one, being a guy that, doesn't give up an offensive rebound. I don't know. There's a number of things you kind of name on the defensive end, but all of them go into, just kind of preparation and being ready for it all. So.
Aaron, just because we haven't really sat down with you after games a lot this season, I just wonder, how would you summarize this season for you?
It's been a challenge. But one that will only make me grow, one that will only make me better. I've continued to just trust, my journey and trust the process behind everything. Great group of guys, obviously, and we're winning at a high rate. So can't ask for anything more than that. You want to have fun and be with a great group of guys while you win. So.
Yeah, and Mark was mentioning, this is not news to you, but obviously, even dating back to last year, you've had stretches where your minutes fluctuate. In Indy, you played 5-ish minutes. I guess, does that make a night like tonight, a quarter like the fourth, more special for you?
I won't say it makes it more special. Just another night. Who knows? If I didn't get hot, if I didn't hit those 2 threes, I might have got subbed out. So it's no telling how the night's going to go. But, just kind of finding a balance to kind of, be able to not be flustered whether you're playing 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So.
And last thing, Isaiah made a point to say that, because Sam is so good at identifying talent, that you can end up, like yourself, on a good team with a lot of talented guys, and there are some games you might not play as much. Is that something you've kind of had to come to terms with?
I mean, it's the NBA. Everybody can play at this level, so yeah, Sam does a great job just kind of identifying talent, obviously, and we've got a really deep roster. 1 through 18 could go in there and be a rotation guy, so you don't take for granted when you get your minutes, and you try to make the best every time you're on the floor.
Isaiah, just describe the feeling of that fourth quarter from your perspective, and high-level opponent, great intensity in the building, and the way that you guys rolled to the finish.
It was great. I mean, first of all, the fans were really good tonight. I mean, just gave us a lot of energy. I think it's always good to play at home and then have the fans behind you like that. I just feel like in the second half in general, we just stepped it up. We got back to our fundamentals. Wiggs hit some big shots. He was really impressive tonight, and I think we just locked back in on team defense and did a great job at the end.
The passing in the final 5 minutes or so, Shai intentionally hunts Aaron for a three.
Yeah.
Dub finds you on the baseline.
Yeah.
Shai's slipping passes on those guard-to-guard screens.
Yeah.
How difficult against that defense is it to execute the passes that you guys got?
It's big. I mean, Tibbs and Jimmy, just playing for Tibbs, he's a great defensive mind. So just having our guys be unselfish, make the easy play, not force anything was big. And I think that's what got us easy shots is Shai not forcing anything, making the right play. Dub not forcing anything, making the right play, and we just executed out of that.
Zay, so you saw Josh, even matched up with him. I know you're generally happy to see those guys, but in game, what are those emotions like as you're competing against a guy like that and just your former team?
It's good. I mean, to compete against those guys is something great. I mean, they're all great competitors. I mean, yeah, me and Josh joke around, but both of us are top-notch competitors. So I think just playing against them, playing against the old team was a good matchup, and also was good for our team just to play a top-notch team like that to keep improving.
Right, you mentioned the level of test it is. I guess I just wonder where you would rank this among tests this season, considering the paint touches a guy like Brunson.
Yeah.
The way OG shot the ball, how physical Cap is, just the well-rounded kind of attack.
It's definitely up there. I mean, them coming off a 9-game winning streak, for us to come in, not have a great first half, but then kind of readjust to come back in. I think we learned a lot today, and I think these games, and then the next game against Boston, against Cleveland, I think those games are going to be important for us to keep learning and keep building.
You talked before about kind of your upbringing, developing as a passer and a playmaker, but you were out there tonight defensively on an island, blitzing Brunson as well.
Yeah.
Like, where did you grow that part of your game?
I mean, just wanting to get on the court. I mean, I feel like, especially my first 3 years, I was trying to figure out, there's always a reason why you're maybe not on the court. And so for me, it was always at the beginning defensively. And so for me, it was just watching especially a lot of Draymond, just how he impacted the game on and off the ball. So I think, especially young guys in the league that are not maybe playing that much, just if you can watch film, try to figure out, talk to coaches, try to figure out what you can get better in and not waste your time. I think that's the biggest thing you can do, especially if you're not playing as a young guy.
You had 7 assists tonight. That was tied for the lead in the game.
Yeah.
Just can you talk about your teammates, how easy it makes it for you to play make and find these guys to get these assists?
Yeah, they do a great job of they're starting to cut a lot more now and just knowing I'm going to get them open. I mean, I feel like every game is different, especially for me in my role. Some days it's more scoring aspects, and then some days it's like today where it's more getting guys open, maybe holding the screen a little longer, facilitating more and being more of like a rebounder, defensive impactor type of guy. So I think that's, especially my role here, is always going to change night to night depending who we're playing against, and I just want to do whatever the team needs. And yeah.
Do you have any special insight with the Knicks since you played there last year? And then 2, I've noticed you grab the board and push the break.
Yeah.
Is that just showing your comfortability here, or did you do that last year with the Knicks?
I didn't do that much last year. I think Mark was kind of giving me the confidence that if I get the rebound, just to start pushing it more. I mean, I've always kind of been comfortable doing it, but it wasn't my role before. So, I mean, now Mark says if I get the rebound, just push it. I mean, I know I can handle the ball. I know I can facilitate out of that. And, yeah, I mean, playing against the Knicks today was good. I mean, kind of the intel. I mean, I knew most of their plays, so that made it a little easier. But yeah, I mean, Tibbs been doing a great job this year, especially having a new team and some new stars, just getting everyone back on the same page. And I mean, they were on a 9-game winning streak, so they've been doing really good so far.
Aaron was a guy who, his minutes, even dating back to last year, have fluctuated. He played 5 minutes when you guys went to Indy. What'd you learn about him tonight?
Just that he stays ready. I mean, we all knew how good of a player is, but I mean, that's kind of the thing when you got a guy like Sam Presti who's so good at his job that sometimes you just have too many players at some point. So we all knew he's a great player in the league, and then whenever he gets his minutes, he shows up, and I think that's the most impressive, that he stays ready. Had another thing, the last 2 or 3 games, big games for us, and I think that's been really impressive.
And then you've played for both these organizations, and Tibbs usually runs his guys 40, 45 minutes just on a nightly basis. Mark likes to go 10, sometimes 11 deep. And back-to-back seasons, can you just compare and contrast just the different styles?
It's different. I mean, I think both. I mean, Tibbs, I think a lot of people think that like when you're playing with Tibbs, you're also practicing every day. You're not doing that. Most of the times, especially if you're playing a lot, you're getting off most of the days. So I think he's changing that aspect. Yeah, he's going to play you a lot, but you're going to get your off days. And I think Mark's different in that aspect that, we also have a deeper team, so he has the luxury of playing 10 guys. But yeah, they're different that aspect. Both great coaches, both great basketball minds, and yeah.
Last year, this was the youngest one seed in league history. There's often like the cliche that people talk about of teams have to take their lumps, they have to get their playoff scars. Do you think that teams can get their scars just sort of in the regular season, or does that have to be something in the playoffs?
It's depending how you approach it. I feel like Mark does a good job of making sure each game, no matter how the game is, no matter who we're playing, we're building the right habits, and I think that's important. I think you can't start building the right habits 5 games before the playoffs, and so I think we do a good job here of just making sure we're building the right habits. It doesn't matter who we're playing against, so yeah.
Just that fourth quarter from Shai, like I think back to some of the Wiggins shots, some of the other spot ups, like Shai is the guy giving the ball up. I imagine it takes some level of trust, and especially with the season he's had. He just talked about maybe a month ago just reflecting on the postseason last year and wanting to put guys in better position to succeed in the postseason. Do you feel like he's tried to do that in the regular season and tried to do that tonight?
Yeah, he's been great. Just getting guys involved, making guys' life easier. Again, what I've said multiple times, he doesn't force anything. He's going to make the right play. He's going to try to get his teammates involved, and then he's a bucket still. So, he's been great. Dub's been amazing. Should be an all-star soon coming up, just the way he's been playing. So make sure y'all vote, please. And then even guys like AJ, I don't even know people really been talking about him in the rookie race. I've played now all the rookies, and I don't feel any rookies this year have been playing better than AJ, especially on the winning team. So I think some people maybe have to talk about that a little bit more too.
Mark, was there anything maybe tactical that you guys executed at a higher level defensively in the second half? Was it more effort, energy? What made the difference after halftime?
The first half just wasn't great for us, and credit them. They made it hard on us. They ran us. They just kind of punched us in the mouth around the basket. They were posting their wings. They were posting everybody. And I just thought we got a little frantic and off our game in terms of execution. And, when you don't execute and you're not overly physical against a team like that, you're going to get punished for it. So it's a good lesson for us. And then I thought we came out in the second half, and that's all we did. We amped up our physicality. We executed and got sharper, stopped playing the scoreboard and just played the possession and stacked those up and had a really good defensive half.
And then you guys are on that big run and have this transition opportunity. Shai has it, and he specifically seems to hunt out where Aaron Wiggins is. What's going through your mind in that moment, either about either of those two guys or just the team in general for that play to unfold?
Yeah, I thought Shai's trust of his teammates down the stretch was really, really good. That play, he hit the pocket a couple times against the double teams, and those guys made great decisions, ended in a 3, ended in a foul. And Wiggins, I'm happy for him. He's done this before. We know how good of a player he is, but he played 5 minutes, I think, against Indiana. Didn't play in the second half, and turned around, had a really good outing against Charlotte, and strung together a good week and got himself back on track and just kept his confidence and didn't make excuses. Just went and played, and then tonight, got rewarded for that. Persistence. So I was happy to see him contribute the way he did, make the shots he made. He was really, really good in the fourth.
Hey, Mark, I'm just curious, was the plan, because Hartenstein was at the table for a while, was the plan for him to come get Aaron until Aaron started kind of going on that run?
No, he was getting Kaysen, and Kaysen had been in there for a while. I think he started the quarter, so I thought he was gassed. We had our Brunson matchup, and if Lou fouled out, we're going to have to get Kaysen back in on Brunson. I wanted to make sure he had gas in the tank for that, so it was more of that.
So I guess I would ask, why this game for Aaron? Why play him down the stretch? Like, why did this game make the most sense?
Well, he was making every shot, so I was just responding to that. Usually if you were making every shot, I'd play you.
I hope so. And with Doug, we've obviously talked a bunch about the push and pull with refs and his aggression at the rim. It feels like he's been assertive at the rim these past couple games, especially in that fourth quarter. Just what do you see there as far as his force, the force he played with?
Yeah, I thought his force was much better second half to first half. I thought in the first half he bailed on a couple of them. And in the second half, he was faster, more forceful. And we've done a great job of continuing to drive in there. Obviously, the free throws were a huge narrative early in the season, rightfully so. And we've just been relentless about going. And the whistles started to come around. And then we've also addressed a lot of the things fundamentally, defensively, that we're putting our opponents on the line. And so the combination of our persistence on the driving and the offense and our fundamentals on defense has turned the free throw differential for us in some of these games, which has been big for us.
I don't know how much you are late in the game. I don't know how much you are calling plays or anything, but you guys haven't had many opportunities in these clutch moments. Can you talk about their comfortability level to just letting them just keep things going, and I don't want to say staying out the way, but staying out of the way?
Yeah, I thought our execution on both ends was pretty good. Bridges he missed a three that we just weren't guarding him on. We got to learn from that. We got to be more ready than that. But for the most part, really good execution defensively, and not giving them anything easy on that end of the floor. And then offensively getting to our spacing and finding some matchups. And then they started double teaming, and we moved it out of that really well. So we work on it all the time, and we also are a team that has some continuity, and we've been in a lot of these situations in the past, and so we've got the cumulative knowledge from that, and then we try to keep it sharp in practices and shoot-arounds.
I think you should talk about what went into starting iHart on Josh Hart and JDub on Cat.
Yeah, just JDub's comfortability with Towns, and limiting some of the things that he brings to the table. Obviously, he's a really dynamic player, so you're not going to limit everything, but they're a really good team that forces you to prioritize, and that's what we chose to do tonight. But that doesn't mean that we'll stick with that forever.
What did you think of Jay Will's defense tonight?
I thought a couple things. The first thing I'll say is the play where Dub and Hart tied up for the same. It was like a teammates getting a jump ball, and then the other team gets the ball and lays the ball in for an and one. It's just such a deflating play, and I thought that was a great opportunity for us to really test what we're made of, because we've obviously won a lot of games, especially lately, and that's the classic, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and that's usually the type of thing, especially when you're trying to come back in the game, that's the type of thing that can tear, you can start to drift, from the team in those situations. And we just kept going, and I thought Jay Will, second half, Isaiah Joe, was part of that run, despite the fact that he didn't have a great shooting night. Obviously, Wiggins speaks for itself. I just thought we got great contributions, from real team guys that kept the threads together at a time when it wasn't an easy game and things weren't always going our way. And I thought that was really impressive, and I thought Jay Will was a part of that.
It looked like AJ left the game a little bit early. Is there any update on him?
He's got a toe sprain, and we'll see him in the morning. But he didn't come back.
And you're playing Tom Thibodeau in the Knicks, and he notoriously plays his guys 40-plus minutes night after night after night. You have never been afraid to go even 11 deep on just any given night and do just that conflict of styles. You just look in amazement at those guys just playing all those minutes all the time, as opposed to your philosophy where you just play guys 10, 11 deep.
We're all running our own race, and everybody's a little bit different. And I have great respect for Coach Tibbs, and I have great respect for their players. Everybody runs a different offense. Everybody has different schemes, different terminology. One's not right or wrong. We've got our head down on our race, and everybody else is doing the same.
Coach, the next team on this very difficult stretch is the defending champs, Boston, on Sunday. I don't know if you've had any chance to think about that game, but can you talk about that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, this whole stretch, we're excited to play against really good teams that are going to throw their best punch, and so are we. And that's how you grow as a team, is you go through the different experiences of the season. Every night is a different challenge for a different reason. They're obviously a very tall order, and so we've got to fill our tank. I think tonight was 5 and 7. And so we've had a tough stretch here. We've got to fill the tank tomorrow and be ready to play again on Sunday. But we're excited to test ourselves in every game. We never want to waste an opportunity to compete.
Mark, you just said a couple times this week now that the free throws were a huge narrative early in the season. It sounds like past tense. Are you feel like that's in the past now, that's changed?
I mean, I just think the differential is turning for us a little bit, and I think it's a combination of defensive fundamentals. I mean, we're not blaming everything on the officials. We're going to look in the mirror always, and defensively we were slapping and grabbing and a little bit undisciplined and over-aggressive in certain situations, and we've really tried to identify those and improve, and the guys have done a great job with that on that end. And then the message has been that we're going to be unrelenting going to the paint and to the basket on the offensive end and trust that the whistle's going to come around. And that's been the message to the team. And I give the guys credit because we weren't getting whistles early, and it hasn't drifted us into this like soft jump shooting team. We're continuing to attack and trusting that we'll get the calls if we deserve them.
You guys were down 7, I think with 6 or 7 minutes left. Kaysen has that blunder where the ball goes out of bounds on the fast break, and him and Dub start laughing. Most teams in a high intense game like this are getting their head down. You just mentioned seeing what you guys are made of. Does that give you a sense of comfortability that these guys are relaxed in these moments?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to with the Hart JDub jump ball. There's we had a bunch of plays like that tonight. The game, second night of a back-to-back, 5 and 7. We were just a little sloppy, to be honest with you. Just some uncharacteristic sloppy plays. And some of them came on that play, the Dub Hart one, when we had kind of come around defensively and come around in the game, and yet we're running up against some tough plays and bad luck plays, and again, those are the types of things that can fracture a team in an individual game. And I thought our ability to just stay together and work through it together is an important skill that we want to have and that we need to develop. And I thought the guys did a great job of that tonight.